Thank you for joining me for another episode of Devil Craft Leather. In this episode, we're going to be recreating the first bifold wallet that I did for YouTube.
Alright, we're going to be starting off with this blank canvas here. It's going to be a bifold wallet, so in the way that it's going to be, I'm going to have a 2-inch pocket, which folds up over itself. So, fold line right here. This is where it's going to, the top of the card would sit. That's the fold line for the bifold itself. Top of the wallet, and then 2 inches down, and another 2 inches down. So we're just going to move this guy down here. We're going to get that squared up. So we're going to go all the way out to 4 inches. And down. Alright, and I know this is 4 inches, so I'm just going to For this, I'm going to be using the Phoebing's green leather dye. Phoebing's green leather dye. And then the white stitching. I think the contrast will be really nice. It's very important to keep a clean workstation. Having a clean workstation promotes better crafting. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're going to put in my signature V that I put in my card inserts. So between these two marks, let's see, half and half. You just move your ruler just so that this is equal to the difference of that. From the top, it's always a half an inch down. Now you can see that nice V-notch there. And so, what you can do is just a trick that I like to do. You know, let's do 1 centimeter up. Switching over to metric now. Confusing everybody. Let's do 1 centimeter up. And we're just going to mark that right there. And that's where we're going to punch a hole. So you're going to line up this, right? Make an impression first so that you can see, okay, this is exactly where it needs to be, so I need to move it over just a little bit. Now, you're probably like, well, now you need to measure the other side. But you really don't. Because since you have this here, and you know that these are both perfect fit, then you have a guide for where your other snap is going to sit. And all you need to do is line the top lines up. Put in your mark. This tool is a scyther, and what this does is that it bevels your edge for you. I'm going to do this right now. In the past, I've done this after I stain, but now that I've been doing this for quite a while, I realized that if you go ahead and wait till after you stain, you end up taking off what you've stained, I guess. Or you end up exposing the raw leather underneath of what you stained. And then you come back through with your stain, then you have to restain your edges. So to me, it makes more sense to do it this way, because then you only have to stain it once, and then you only have to burnish it. And then another issue is that once you do dye it, this is going to be wet. So if you want to move on after an hour or so, after this is dried a little bit, then you're going to be trying to scythe your edges, and it's going to be wet. When you have wet leather, the scyther will bunch up, and it'll just not give you a clean line. All right, we're going to be moving on to staining in this next part of the video, and it's quite essential that when you're staining this, you go in a swirl pattern. So while this is drying, I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to modify the snap that I'm going to be using so that I don't have such a protruding button placement, because it's a hidden button snap. So you wouldn't see, since this is a hidden snap, there wouldn't be anything on the outside showing. Ergo, the back of this button needs to be gone. So what I'm going to do real quick is just take this needle nose pliers, and I'm just going to peel back this outer casing. And voila. Okay, so this is going to be an outside piece. This goes with that, this goes with that, and that goes with that. So since this is inverted, I mean, you have to imagine it being like this and snapping together. It's awesome. And since my fingers are apparently too slippery, I'm going to put that in place there, and this in place right here. So now, once it folds together, it'll snap in place. So I'm going to use my setter for this one. And for this side, you need... So this is the tool, this is the setter for the other side, and this is the tool for this side. So this inserts into the top of the button, at the top of the snap. So this inserts into the top of the snap, and it will mushroom out this side in here, in the cavity in the middle of here. Okay. So now you can see that the snaps are in place. This will fold together, and with any luck, I got these in the right place. Okay, perfect. So moving on, what we're going to be doing now is gluing this together, and then we're going to punch our holes. Since this surface is rough, there isn't any need to scrape it. we're going to be using our perking iron to put in our holes for stitching. I do like to use this tool here, it's calipers. When you're lining up your holes, that you don't leave this too close to the edge, otherwise you'll end up perforating this side and it'll just look terrible. Okay, so I have my needle, I have my thread, wax thread, and we're just going to do a saddle stitch. So I always start from the inside. Okay, to finish up here, we're going to be rubbing mink oil into this outer layer and the inside layer. I want to thank you for watching this episode of Devilcraft Leather. I think this thing really turned out well. I'm glad that I'm able to use my newly found editing techniques to make a better version of an old video for you. Alright, I appreciate you watching. Click like and subscribe, and remember, the devil is always in the details.